Greetings, friends. Welcome. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Cincinnati on this 13th day of October. It is a beautiful day here in the pavilion room. This is Club 17 for anyone who doesn't know. We are the 17th club out of 34,000, and it's a great day to be part of Club 17. We have a great program here today. We welcome U.S. Attorney Kenneth Parker. Mr. Parker serves as the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for the Southern District of Ohio and the 5 million residents in the 48 counties. Kenneth Parker, we appreciate you joining us today, and we look forward to your presentation. We're going to begin our program with the national anthem, led by Ariel Miller, accompanied by Kay Atkins. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of our bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Please remain standing for the invocation and four-way test by Dr. Hux Miller.
Thank you, President Steve. Let us bow our heads. Lord, thank you for calling us together on such a lovely fall day. Thank you for the opportunities for service above self. Keep us involved and engaged. Help due days be a success. Help us to be part of a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change. And to the judges and officers of our courts, give understanding and integrity that human rights may be protected and justice served. Amen. And now let us repeat what we as Rotarians think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it do goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
You may be seated. Thank you, Hux, for those excellent thoughts and invocation. I'd like to welcome Director Bill Stilley to the podium to welcome our guests and prospective members, followed by Director Larry Cunningham as our meeting sponsor.
Thank you, President Steve. And I too would like to welcome you to Club 17 out of 34,000 clubs. But I would be negligent if I didn't remind you that we are the 17th oldest Rotary Club in the universe. I'd like to welcome three potential Rotarians. And if you would, as I announce your name, please stand up so that we could recognize you. Cody von Boxell is with the DAV and is a guest of Jack Scott. Barry Jesenowski.
Guest speaker, Kenneth Parker, Southern Ohio District Attorney. Looking forward to hearing you speak. Our firm, Childers & Cunningham Architects, provides architecture, construction management, and master planning services for a variety of the most challenging sites and projects in Cincinnati and the surrounding region. Focus areas include religious, custom residential, elder care, commercial, municipal, and theater projects. We guide a project from master plans through initial design, technical drawings, to full construction services, whether that be construction management or construction observation services with a general contractor. Project sizes range dramatically from a residential bathroom remodel or a kitchen renovation to multi-story new construction over a parking structure, say. At each person's table is a small favor that also showcases some of our recent projects. It's a packet of gum. Please take that with you. And Christy will shortly show us a slideshow of some of our more recent projects. Most are from the last 5 to 10 years, but there is one project that we designed in the very first year in business, which was 35 years ago. See if you can pick it out.
Thank you, Larry. And thank you to Childress and Cunningham for being a meeting sponsor. Your sponsorship helps and goes directly to membership development. Next, we're moving on to welcoming 2 new members. First, we're going to have Jim Brooks introduce the new member, Terrence Shearer, followed by Doug Bolton introducing Carol Cerrone. Jim.
Thank you, President Steve. Allow me to introduce to you Terrence Shearer. We shall call him Terry. Terry serves as the executive director of A Kid Again. It's a nonprofit here locally, and A Kid Again organizes events and getaways for families of kids with life-threatening illnesses, and they were a recent allocations grant recipient of our Rotary Foundation, in case it sounds familiar. On a personal level, Terry lives in White Oak with his wife, and he's got 3 grown children. He came to know Rotary through the allocations grant program and was interested in our club, but he brings some serious Rotary chops to the party, having served as a past president of the Middletown Rotary Club back in 2011. So please welcome Terry to Club 17.
Snap a picture, Ed? From a distance here, but welcome to Rotary. Thanks. Thank you. Mr. Bolton, come on up here.
Thank you, President Steve. So, borrowing a new method from the large club conference, I want you to know these 5 things about our new member, Carol Cerrone. She's a graduate of the University of Cincinnati, go Bearcats, with degrees in accounting and law. She started her career as a tax specialist with a large local accounting firm. In 2014, she made the transition into the nonprofit sector with a specialty in philanthropy. She is currently the development director of the Girl Scouts of Western Ohio, and she wants to activate her Rotarian life because she's really passionate about helping people living with disabilities in our community. Please give a warm welcome to Carol Cerrone.
Delighted to have you. I don't know if we can grab a picture. We'll come this way. Oh, we're going to go that way. Move closer to the bench. Thank you, Carol. Welcome. It's always a joy to welcome new members. Welcome, Carol. Welcome, Terry. It's going to be a lot of fun having you as part of our projects. Now it is time for the announcements. I tell you, this is a busy month, so there are quite a few, but they all represent exciting things going on in our club. Birthdays. Hit the birthdays. Look at that. Mike LaValle, happy birthday today. Welcome. We think we've got we got Bob McElroy here today. So McElroy, you've got a birthday on Sunday. I think Jim Eichmann and Mary Dornetti. Welcome. So happy birthday to all these Rotarians. Oh. Split the pot. Now, Mr. Parker has left right at the time we needed him most. No, actually, he can do what he needs to do. We'll ask you to stand in, Cheryl, for Split the Pot. Thank you. So Split the Pot supports membership development. Today's pot is $48, and the revolving pot is up to $662. So today's winner, last four digits, is 8623. All right, Andy. All right. $48 to Andy. Pulling for the Queen of Hearts. See if we got a winner today, Andy. You were right there. So close, Andy, so close. All right, we heard mention of Cincinnati Rotary Due Days. We are looking for a few more Rotarian volunteers. Service days are Friday, October 21st, and Saturday, the 22nd. There'll be 20 volunteer projects helping 17 area nonprofit organizations. You can sign up for the projects by accessing the club website, cincinnati-rotary.org. Click Events, click Rotary Due Days. Neighborhood Coffee Series continues Tuesday, October 25th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Sleepy Bees new College Hill location. Thank you, Michael Schatzman, for organizing this fellowship and networking event. Again, that's October 25th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Register on DACDB. Rotary After Hours, Halloween edition. Our next Rotary After Hours will be hosted by Rotarian Dan Long. Dan, are you here? I see you wave. There's Dan Long. On Friday, October 28th from 5:30 until 7:30 at his home in Mount Lookout. Attendees should bring a beverage of choice, an appetizer, or dessert to share, but costumes are highly encouraged. Dan, are you and Lisa going to be in costume? I presume so. Please RSVP by clicking the link on the e-raise by Tuesday the 25th. Raise your hand if you want a flyer. I think Christy has flyers to hand out. Professional Development Series events. Next one will be held at 11 a.m. before the Thursday, November 3rd meeting. Attendees will join Elizabeth Galperin, founder of Peak Productivity, Cincinnati-based business coaching and consulting firm. She teaches her signature Ascend method. Elizabeth will provide an engaging interactive presentation revealing the 6 fundamental and foundational systems and structures all professionals need to reach their fullest potential. You may sign up through the Rotary website, DACDB, or the flyer that Christy has available. Christy's got a lot of flyers today. Also on Thursday, November 3rd, the Corporate Member Roundtable. We have our next Corporate Member Roundtable panel discussion. The topic will be the economy, what's around the corner. Our panel will consist of Director Rotarian Ed Mathis, Mr. 40 Under 40, Vice President of the Republic Commercial Real Estate, Republic Commercial Real Estate, Rotarian Jim Yunker, President and CEO of the Yunker Group, and John Posey, Senior Vice President, Portfolio Manager at U.S. Bank. Be sure to RSVP through the regular Sunday email for the next Corporate Member Roundtable. Attention military veterans. On November 10th, we will be recognizing Rotarians who are military veterans. If you are a veteran, please submit your name, highest rank attained, branch of the service, and years of service, along with the military photo, if you have one available, by Friday, November 4th, to the office or Christie. In the news, we congratulate our very own Dr. Bill Shula for being a recipient of the 2022 Ohio School Board Association's Aptitude and Recognition Award. This statewide award is part of their Star Award program. Congratulations, Bill, much deserved. And in the family of Rotary, we want to congratulate Rotarian Becky McGilligan, who married her fiance, Dave, this past weekend on the 8th of October. Congratulations, Becky McGilligan. Happy news for the family of Rotary. Whew, a lot of announcements, but now I want to turn the program over to our own Cheryl Parker to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you very much, President Steve, and good afternoon, Club 17. It is a very, very special honor for me to introduce our speaker today. He is a native of Cincinnati, a graduate of Walnut Hills High School, a graduate of Tuskegee University and the Indiana University School of Law. After law school, I think we have some Indiana people in the audience as well. After law school, it was very important for him to come back to Cincinnati to begin his career of service, starting as a judicial law clerk for the late U.S. District Court Judge S. Arthur Spiegel, then joining the U.S. Attorney's Office in 1999, where he started as an assistant U.S. attorney, then moved on to becoming chief of the Organized Crime and Drug Enforcement Task Force, later serving as chief of the Criminal Division for the department, and along the way, many, many opportunities for community service as president of the Federal Bar Association Board, the Cincinnati Bar Association, the Cincinnati Black Lawyers Association, and mentoring aspiring African-American attorneys as chair of the Summer Work Experience and Law Program. Then last September, President Joe Biden nominated him to serve as the 45th United States Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio. That nomination was confirmed by unanimous vote in the U.S. Senate in November. He was sworn in a few days before Thanksgiving, giving our teenage daughters and myself a lot to be thankful for. So it is with tremendous pride that I introduce to you my husband and our United States Attorney, Kenneth L. Parker.
Hello, everyone. My wife, she left out the best decision I ever made, and that was asking her to marry me. So that was the best decision. Thank you for that introduction. And thank you for making sure I stay on point with the honey-do list at home as well. And President King, thank you for your leadership of this organization and inviting me to speak. Yeah. You know, I would tell you all, I had prepared a PowerPoint, even showed it to my wife, and at slide 38, she said, no, I don't think that's what we want you to do. I had prepared a speech, and she said, well, this is just lunch, and unlike other speaking engagements, just a discussion, give some remarks and so forth. And that's what I like to do, and I think I can hit both points as far as the PowerPoint and the speech through my remarks today. I will tell you too, when I heard the first statement from your four-way test, and you stated, is it the truth? I knew I was in the right place. For a prosecutor, that's what we do every day, all day, is look for the truth. In tragedies, unfortunately, but that's what we do. So I was very happy to hear that being the first part of your four-way test. That's right. You know, service above self. Service above self, and I'm taking this from the vantage point of my office being a prosecutor for over 20 years. Prosecutors, we are different animals, so to speak, in as far as the legal world. So I want to take it from that vantage point. That's our cells. When I came into the office, two gentlemen who helped me, as we say, eat rocks and understand our commitment. Bill and Bob, we had their offices on each side of mine, and outside my office was a table where we would interrogate individuals. We call it proffers. And at lunch, Bill would come out of his office, Bob would come out of his office, I come out of my office, and we sit at this table, and we would read the newspaper, pass it around, talk, and so forth. And then when that hour was over, I go back in my office, Bill would go back in his office, Bob would go back in his office, and we'd get back to our cases. And we did that every day. And that's kind of the life that we lived, although I was more of an outreach person, so I saw it, as Judge S. Arthur Spiegel had taught me, to get out into the community and to really get involved. But the self part was the prosecutorial part, and I will get into the service part a little bit later. I want to also say to you all, thank you for allowing me to participate with you all in the Camp Allen event with my girls. I found that to be such a joy that these individuals who they suffer with disabilities, but to see them be able to enjoy those balloon rides and the smiles on their faces and the joy to which they brought to me, seeing them enjoy, was so incredible. You know, the Constitution submits that we have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I would say to this Rotary, you assisted those persons in that third prong, that pursuit of happiness to which they have a right to. I say on their behalf, and I'm sure they couldn't say it enough, but thank you for your work with Camp Allen. Thank you very much. But as I stated, the prosecutorial side of my work, as Judge Weber, who I externed with, we discussed, we see a lot of tragedy, a lot of victims who have suffered tragedy, but even from defendants who, because of something that occurred in their lives, as Judge Weber would say, look for that tragedy that may have occurred and see if you can find it and what we can do to rehabilitate those folks. They have to be punished, but 95% of the people we come in contact with, they too will get out of jail. So you want them to be positive providers to the nation. As President King stated about my office, 48 counties. The Southern District of Ohio makes up 48 counties, 5 million plus people. If you drew a line just across the state of Ohio above Columbus, Morrow County, just across this state, all those counties below that line would be in our district. Darke County, Washington County, Meigs County, Jefferson, not just Hamilton, but Hamilton is very much. We have 3 offices. In Franklin County, that's Columbus. Montgomery, that's Dayton, here in Cincinnati. So are we busy? Pretty much, you know. But our work is incredibly fulfilling. You know, I don't have to watch TV. My wife will tell you. I watch TV. She's probably miserable because we can't solve our cases in 45 minutes to an hour with commercial breaks. I wish that we could, but we can't. So when I watch TV, especially these law shows, she often says I figure them out. I do. I think I'm great at that. I can figure out who the culprit is. I can figure out a number of things. But I find myself, if there's a legal show, they need to object or something's gone wrong, and I'll throw my hands up and I just lose it and go do something else around the house or go to my study. And I like to read old newspapers. So I love, there's a site that I can go to and read newspapers going all the way back to, you know, when they began. And for me, that's good. I learned so much in that fashion. And I appreciate my wife for allowing me to go to my room. So, you know, but my office, while as far as protecting the American people, we work for the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. He has 3 priorities: uphold the law, and as Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves, who was appointed in 1875, he was the first African-American Deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi. He has stated, the law may not be perfect, but it's the only one we got, and we should uphold that law. I say Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves because he was a man of the highest integrity. And when individuals enter my office, they see a commissioned painting of him that I had done. I want individuals to understand the law and upholding it from his point of view. But the Attorney General says, uphold the law, protect civil rights. That's why the Department of Justice was established in 1870, to protect individuals who were recently freed from slavery, to make sure that they had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So uphold civil rights and keep America safe. Keep America safe. The 66 assistant United States attorneys that I supervise, the 49 special assistant U.S. attorneys that I supervise, the 50 support personnel, and the 17 contractors, I believe they find the work incredibly fulfilling and that they follow those tenets given to us by the Attorney General. I love the work that they do. Do they have stresses? Yes, they do, but they overcome those stresses every day, upholding those tenets. And I am blessed to be working with individuals who are outstanding public servants. And the thing I like most about the people I work with is, while we always say change is difficult, it can be. And trust me, we see change with different administrations. But the public servants I work with, they are seeking always change in the way of positive things. What can we do to serve the community above and beyond what we do ourselves as prosecutors? Again, the service that is above the self of a prosecutor. I did have a quick moment to speak to Barry, right? And Cody, right? I'll remember your faces and your names forever. No, I'm just kidding, not in that sense. But speaking to them about the work they do with veterans, and we have an initiative where we want to go forward and serve more of our veterans beyond just saying Happy Veterans Day on November 11th. What can our office do so that veterans have a better understanding of the rights they have when it comes to renting homes, getting property, acquiring loans, and so forth. So I'm going to be speaking to you about that. So I am incredibly grateful for the people I work with in their attitude to continue to serve this community and continue to do it in the most positive ways. Our office has 3 divisions. The Civil Division, where we bring forward affirmative tort actions, and we also defend the United States in different actions. You may say, well, I thought you were a prosecutor's office. Well, we are, but we defend the United States. If something occurs on land owned by the United States, the United States has lawyers. That's us. So if something occurs at the VA hospital, things do happen. People bring civil actions there. You have actions of sexual harassment and so forth. We defend individuals there. We come into court and we defend them. One of the special defenses that we have is we actually represent the federal judges in defense actions. We just did one recently. I spoke to one of the Sixth Circuit judges about a response that our folks did on his behalf, and it's no better feeling when the judges are incredibly grateful, because to be able to walk in and know, how you feeling today, Judge? And they say, thank you for the service you provided, because I know I didn't do anything wrong. Of course you didn't. We know they didn't. but to be able to defend them because someone has brought a frivolous action, but they have a right to bring them. For us to be able to do that on our civil side is great. Our criminal side, we facilitate investigations and we prosecute. And we ensure justice is in every aspect of the criminal justice system. See, you have to be fair during investigations as far as who you're looking at. You have to be fair as far as your charges. To charge someone is incredible power. I'm sure it keeps folks awake at night. So to even make it seem or give the appearance that you're going to charge someone is incredible power. And I'm grateful that the folks in our office, they know how to hold that power and not get absorbed in it. We have to make sure even after charging someone, at the time of bond, whether or not they are released or not, that is done fairly. Anything up through trial, we must be fair. During trial, we have to be fair and just. And when I say that, we even protect to make sure the individual does not find themselves having ineffective assistance of counsel. I give the defense bar in this area, I tip my hat to them. They are great. But there has been times where defense counsel may not have looked at all the evidence. So you may have to call that person into your office and say, hey, let's go over everything. And then not only that, let's go over everything with your client to make sure that they know what's going on, as I say, what train that they're going to be run over by in the courtroom. But, they need to know that so they can make a voluntary and a reasonable decision as far as if they want to plead guilty. And then after that, we have to be fair if they're found guilty. We have to be fair that, one, should they stay out on bond? But we have to be fair with the sentence that they receive. And then even after that, we have to be fair in how we deal with that person on appeal. And we have an appellate division. That's the third division. And they handle all of our appeals. When I first came in, we did not have one. So that the assistants, we handled our own appeals. And I have a number of experiences of going in front of the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals and arguing in front of the judges. If you ever want to rush, imagine preparing 40 hours for 15 minutes of questions that you don't know about that will come or not. I remember at one time, I swore I put it seemed like 60 hours into preparing this binder, and I was so ready to go, so ready to argue my side on appeal. And then the other side went first. They didn't do so well. And then I stood up when it was my turn, and one of the Sixth Circuit judges said, do you really have anything to say when you're winning? And I looked, I thought, and I said three. Thank you, Judge. And I sat down. So, the days are fun. Our job I think is incredibly fulfilling, incredibly fun. All the alphabet agencies, we call them alphabet agencies. You know them as FBI, HSI, ATF, IRS, DEA. I can go on and on and on. While I am the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio, and I talk to you about the 48 counties, understand the arm of the law is long, meaning that we reach around the world. We don't just have to stop at the Ohio River as far as our cases. And our cases can be lengthy as far as the investigations. The longest I served as far as a case facilitated investigation was 7 years of my life. We got them, got every last one of them. Got all 34 people. Anybody here play chess? Well, imagine playing chess. You don't have to take someone off the board at that time just because you can. We're trying to go up the chain and get the hive, not just the individuals in front of you. You want to not only, if you can, you may disrupt an operation, but you want to dismantle an operation. And that may mean if you, as long as you're protecting the public, if you can keep that investigation going, and you know, hey, maybe we can wall someone off and take someone out in this particular way, they don't know what's going on, we protect our confidential informants, we protect any undercover officers, can we continue to deal with this organization such that, one, they don't know how things occur very naturally, but in the end, we dismantle the organization. And that's one thing I ask every AUSA who deals with me, because I came in under the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. We call it OCDEF, where we go after the largest drug trafficking or money laundering operations that there may be. And I'll get into that in 1 second. As a matter of fact, let me just jump to my priorities. Violent crime is a serious priority for me in our district. You know, in 2020, the FBI arrested between May and September, of this year, approximately 6,000 persons who sought to bring violence in this country. They took off, this is just the FBI alone. I just named to you the other alphabet groups we work with, but the FBI alone seized 2,700 firearms on our streets. We see numbers, we see our percentage of those numbers here. And like you, where we see the daily news, violence is something that I have no tolerance for, and that anyone with a firearm that is using it improperly should be addressed, either locally or federally. So we have our share of that. We do not prosecute juveniles. That's rarely done. However, I'm on a task force, a national task force of U.S. attorneys, to where we're trying to decrease juvenile delinquency and juvenile violence. What we're seeing with juveniles, and people are thinking, well, these juveniles that, you know, is it more violence? Not necessarily with juveniles. Let me make that clear. What we're seeing is before, young people may build a resume up and then they do something violent. Now we're seeing young people enter the criminal justice system doing something violent on the first act. And that is the difference. And that is what we're trying to understand, how they're being radicalized to do something as their first act entering the criminal justice system, and that's the problem. Narcotics is a serious issue in our district, in our nation. There's still a serious appetite for it. We cannot have that. The opioid scourge decimated our communities. And you heard from Chief Sinan, a good friend of mine. We talked last week after he spoke to you all. He said you were a great bunch, by the way. He sends his, and I'll remind him after we spoke, he loved coming here and he loves getting his message out. When he and I speak, though, it sometimes feels like a Debbie Downer because we're talking about the deaths or the overdoses. In my office, if a person sells narcotics and there is an overdose death, that's an automatic 20-year mandatory minimum sentence. So individuals are finding out, as a number of them have, trying to make $30 or $40, and someone turns and overdoses. If we take you federal, you're looking at 20 years mandatory minimum. And it does, they respond in the same way. They respond the same way. They respond the same way. So, you know, the cartels are businesses, so they press things, fentanyl, into our community. Right now it's scary because individuals are overdosing, believing they're taking drugs like cocaine and other drugs, but they're laced with fentanyl. And so we're seeing the poly-drug use that the victim doesn't even know that they're doing. And some of the stories are incredibly tragic. But we continue to fight and deal with those cartels like the Sinaloa cartel, the Gulf cartel. And some of you are like, what is he talking about? I have absolutely no idea. But others of you may watch Narcos Mexico. Anybody here besides me? Great, there we got one hand in the back, two hands. Well, we deal with those groups. Garlando was a true person to me. Chapo Guzman is a real person to me. The Arellano Felix organization, the AFO, the Tijuana cartel were real individuals who we dealt with, that we see in our career. individuals on the streets of Cincinnati and dealing with them, and we're asking where the narcotics came from, or we're looking at cocaine for stamps on those cocaine packages, those kilos, we can tell a lot of times which cartel is providing the product. Fentanyl changed things a bit because now you can have smaller amounts of fentanyl and make a lot of money at that, and so you have individuals freelancing, but they're putting death on our streets. So we continue through our OCDF division to deal with those drug trafficking organizations. But as I stated, not only disrupt them, we want to dismantle them. We want Chapo Guzman is serving a good sentence in prison. I often wish I could go visit and say, was it worth it? Because the individuals I deal with, oftentimes they say it was not. Fast money, fast life, long jail sentence. So it's never worth it, especially when they a lot of individuals put their lives on the line, and that side of things brings a different type of. It's not a assistant U.S. attorney nor a U.S. attorney that responds to the scene. It's a coroner. It's Lashley Samarco. One death, as far as fentanyl, is one death too many, and we have to continue our fight. Civil rights, as I stated, is dear to the Attorney General, is dear to my office. We started a Civil Rights Referral Initiative in June, where individuals in this community can connect to our office directly and refer civil rights matters to us. A number of them are on the page. We want to deal with hate crimes, but we also want to know about hate crime incidents. Those are two different things. And a lot of times people, they're like, well, what's the difference? Well, if someone's walking down the street and someone calls them a particular name, that may be a hate crime incident. That's not a violation of the law. But if they then act on it and do something, assault that person, now that's a hate crime. So we want individuals to connect directly to our office. Our district was noticed by the Attorney General. He announced, now there's 94 U.S. attorneys' offices throughout this nation. He announced that there would be a cohort of 16 districts that would lead the first United Against Hate efforts in this country, whereby we prosecute vigorously civil rights cases and raise awareness in the community. And he announced the Southern District of Ohio as one of the 16 in September. So I was very happy about that, and looking forward to carrying out his directives. This morning, for instance, and when I say I'm proud of the work the assistants do, I had to put that on myself too as a leader to make sure I lead from the rear, which I believe put everyone out front, let me brag about everyone in front of me. But I constantly am looking for change and how I can bring positive change to what we do. So this morning, for instance, I was talking to our IT person. I met with the director of the Access to Justice. She came to speak a week ago, Rachel Rossi. And we were talking about some things, and I threw out an ideal for her, and she followed up on it this morning and sent me an email back. And that is on our site, while individuals can report civil rights matters to us, I said, well, we have in our district the second largest Somali population, that's in Columbus, in the nation. It's in Columbus. We have individuals who speak Twi. We have individuals who speak Russian, Mandarin and so forth. How do they report civil rights violations? So I wanted to connect us to the larger department, our district, so individuals can report in other languages. And I was informed this morning it should be done by the time I get back. Don't tell anybody. I just put that out to our IT folks. I believe if I had to do it, it'd be 3 or 4 years. But IT can do things in the sense of hours, and that is connecting up everything so individuals in 70 different languages can report hate crimes through our district to the larger department, and that's what we want done. Environmental, we want to focus on our environmental work. I designated an environmental justice coordinator for our district so that we can make sure communities who typically were disproportionately impacted by environmental matters, they have a voice. Public corruption in this district, no comment. Seriously, you should just know that our democracy demands that any institution where individuals are elected to serve the public and have the public's trust in their hand, they must do so at the highest level. And if they fail to do that, then we will hold them accountable. Fraud, we're committed to rooting out fraud and to making sure that we have a fair marketplace and economic system. And that includes fraud by individuals and or corporations, individuals against corporations or corporations even against each other. And with our fraud, our fraud work, we want to protect the most vulnerable folks in our community, and that is we have an elder justice initiative where individuals attempt to prey on the elderly, and we cannot allow that to happen. They bilk them out of thousands of dollars. We were seeing an uptick in romance scams where individuals are calling folks and using the new technology and taking advantage of people they feel are lonely to try to get their bank accounts and things and other things there. We're finding individuals who are living alone who may have a little bit of dementia that set in or whatnot can be taken advantage of. I don't know about you all, but I get a lot of calls about warranty for cars and things like that. Imagine a person who's at home getting those same telemarketing calls. We cannot have them taken advantage of. And so we had a big elder fraud sweep that we did this past year. And I'm glad to say we took a number of individuals out of our district who, please don't have another reaction with the glass, but they found themselves looking at quite a long period behind bars. Cybercrime, where they may use the computers or hide behind the matrix or binary codes, is important to my office. So I had every AUSA trained in cyber to make sure that we can more or less, if you have a case and life happens and an AUSA chooses to move to another district or decides to go to a larger law firm, that case shouldn't stop there. It shouldn't die with that AUSA. Another AUSA should be able to pick it up, have the same proper training, and be able to move that case forward. By being versed in cyber as well, you can protect the other half of the most vulnerable individuals in the community, and that is our youth. Child exploitation is very serious to me and to everyone in our office. And at one time, you think about children being picked up. They're walking down the street and an individual may drive up and offer candy. We often think about that. But now these computers are allowing individuals directly into the home to try to reach these kids and entice them to get on buses or to meet them somewhere after school. We cannot have that. We cannot have individuals who may entice our youth to do things that their brain has not necessarily matured to be able to say no and to understand. But those predators are out there, and we address them daily. Now, I will tell you, as far as assisting U.S. attorneys in our office, those that handle child exploitation, we keep a special eye on them because that's a high burnout. That could be a high burnout area. It's very hard to do that work because you have to look at the evidence, and the evidence can be pretty painful, especially for those AUSAs who have kids. I will tell you, my first case that involved child exploitation, a colleague, he asked me, he said, just go in and handle the sentencing. You'll be fine. Here's the file. Just handle the sentencing for me. Easy. I go into the sentencing. I gotta get up and just make sure my tie is straight. Say everything's been done. Say what the defendant is looking at as far as time, and we go forward, and everything's gonna be on my right at the defense table, and the judge is gonna cast sentence. It was asked of me. The judge said, "Mr. Parker, would you read the sentence that the defendant is facing?" And I was I was good. I got up, looked at the violation again, and I said, "Judge, he's facing a sentence of 5 years, but the sentence recommendation, and it was not this." And I said, "But the sentence recommendation is life." And the defendant almost collapsed. And I had to catch myself, and I said, wait, I'm sorry, because in that one moment, it had that much of an impact on me because I looked at the facts of the case that morning that my colleague had given to me. So we do pay attention to those AUSAs that handle those cases. They are in tremendous lists. That, remember, every case you may read to, if you want to do a response, has to do probably with something that has to do with a child that's been harmed. They are the most vulnerable in our society, and we guard for them. National security matters, tremendously important. As the Attorney General indicates, keep America safe. You know, our nation faces so many different threats that are evolving now. You know, individuals in our district who wanted to attack grids. We still have a Chinese espionage case that we're dealing with. We are reminded that not only are there international issues of terrorism, but domestic terrorists, the terrorist has risen. And we have individuals in our district who go beyond First Amendment free speech statements, but actually act on things that they believe. On August 11th of this year, we found out we cannot let our guards down as the individual went to the FBI office and attempted to attack our FBI agents, you know, right there in Blue Ash, and also attacked the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Just reminding us we can't let our guards down. You know, in 2020, at the time of the last reporting, there were 234 police officers shot in the line of duty. They were, you know, 45 of them were killed. Of the 234 shooting incidents, 58 of those incidents involved ambush attacks. 22 police officers lost their life during the ambush attacks. So those are just a few things I think about and priorities. My DNA for prosecutorial work, but that's self. But we serve above self. And that's where our outreach comes in. And that's what we smile about. What keeps us smiling is the Camp Allen, you know, working with individuals for no reason of their own have disabilities. We connect with our youth in schools. I understand you're connected with Roseline Condon. We connect with a number of schools and we go out and we speak to the students, letting them know how they can avoid being a victim and assist in preventative ways to ensure other folks are not victimized. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's my attitude. So if we could put more in the way of prevention, we don't see so many tragedies also in our courtroom. You know, again, the defendant, 95% will come home. So we want them to understand, and as I tell people, I've only seen in my whole career, I think 6, maybe 7 people who went to jail and they're bad people. And I'm not counting those involved in child exploitation. That numbers will go up. But I've seen 6 people who are just bad people. Normally, they're just normal people who did a bad act. That's why I try to help them understand. It helps them to get the guilty quicker, too, if they need to plead. They say, I'm not so bad of a person, but I do need to plead guilty to this. So, you know, our outreach in the community is what we need to do. Outreach, I challenge the prosecutors to get beyond who you are. You know, we all, when I think of service beyond self, it must be beyond our own oasis as well. What the comfortable world we live in. See, you know, we talk about terms of even implicit bias, but we have to get beyond even the comfortable world we live in and say, hey, let me see what other cultures are like. My wife will tell you, I love the backpack, love to travel. You know, I've been to Russia, I've been to Japan, I've been to Nicaragua and so many other places in this world. And she'll tell you, when I backpack, I like to just go away. It's not for work. I like to put on a backpack. I haven't been able to do it much since I got married. But anyway, but I like to put on a backpack on, go to a country, and submerge myself into that culture. Even though I haven't done it much since I got married, I can still do it here. You know. Enjoy a Jewish Seder. Go and sit with the Somalis and understand, you know, what it's like to be there and pray. to go and speak to individuals here, the Sikh community, and understand what things that they engage in, what would they want my daughters to learn. I love that, you know, to get beyond the oasis that we put ourselves in sometimes, and to be able to go out. And then after going out and learning those different cultures, serve. Everyone has dreams, everyone has goals. In every community, there are folks who has dreams and goals. You know, I understand this organization, you were serving in Ghana, right? When I heard that, I said, wow, that is incredible. That is incredible. You know, beyond our borders, to know you're beyond our borders, there's things in their service beyond our borders far better than the drug cartels beyond our borders who want to bring this nation harm. But there's people, good people in our communities that are serving our communities, but then you're going out beyond our communities. Who could ask for anything more? I'm a prosecutor at heart. I am, after a husband, sweetie. After a husband, she knows, she'll tell me at home, stop being a prosecutor. Just take out the trash. Right? You know, I think there's elements to it, but thank you for all you do. If anyone would like to serve with our office, or if there's anything our office can do for you all, please let us know. And in today's language, feel free to follow us. And I ask you all to do at SD, Southern District of Ohio, SDOH News. That's Twitter, right? I don't know all this handle stuff, but SDOH News. That's what my PIO would say. She told me to make sure I said that to you this morning. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, sure, I'll take some questions. Okay. Yeah, I'll take any questions at this time. Yes, ma'am. And I can't say I can answer them all, but I will take them.
Thank you so much for your service. You clearly are an asset to all of us. And serving under Attorney General Merrill and President Biden, do you feel that you and your family and all the people that work with you have proper security for yourselves in this day of such radicalized domestic terrorism?
Right. So the question is, under this administration and with what's going on today, do I feel that I and those persons in my office, do we feel we have proper security with what is going on? I would say yes. I feel we do. Could we have more? Yes, we could. But we do not want to look militarized either. I understand it from the point of view of a bank. Like I used to ask that question to banks, like why don't banks just have, you know, people out front guarding the money? But then I was told no one would come in, that people would be so afraid to really use the bank. You know, we are public servants. We show the community that it's safe. We build community trust that way. If I came in here today with 5 Secret Service agents, you probably would look at me much different. So there's a time and a place. It's sort of like the DEFCON, yellow, orange, you know, well, green, yellow, orange, and then red. We can tell when it gets warm. And when that happens, we will address it. Like there's one of my colleagues, a predecessor of mine, he was threatened in his job, and they take care of you when you're threatened. I will say that. We are a family, law enforcement. We are a family. My wife came to know that too when there was a worry. She was in Indianapolis. I was here handling a gang out of California, and the unfortunate incident, an individual parked, I'm here, she's in Indianapolis, an individual parked out in front of our home there with a ball cap on and everything, and he had California license plates, and she was worried, and I made one call, and within 15 minutes maybe, if that, there was an FBI agent asking the person, you know, could they help them? They're a service provider, and it turned out the gentleman had just happened to rent a car with California license plates. Bad decision. I guess he didn't know it, but he, you know, the interaction was simply may I help you? But we watch out. We know to really watch out, so forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
You want to take one more?
Yeah, I'll take one more. Yes, sir. Right. Right. All right. Right. So, no, thank you. So the questions surround swatting, things like that, and calls into schools, like the one that occurred at Princeton last week. We support our state and local law enforcement, but it also ends up on our desk, and we take those very serious. We're not going to accept them, And you hit it right on the head when you said the FBI got involved. When the FBI is involved, the U.S. Attorney's Office is not that far behind. We've had, and I'll give you just an example, we've had incidents where people have called to get out of school and made a threat, over the years, and the FBI agents, when they come back, they will tell us what happened. And typically, sometimes it happens like this. The knock is on the door, the parents answer, because we check the IP address, we follow that address to where it goes, parents answer, the agents will talk to those parents, and the parents are like, no, we haven't been on the computer, nothing's been done. And of course, the question is we know where it's going. Is there anyone here under the age of 18 or whatnot that has access to the computer? Then it's like, John Doe, and then comes out the young man or young woman, and the parents ask, oh, I want to stay home from school. Well, now you got 2 FBI agents outside the house. And so, that happens, but we take it serious, and we make house visits. We make house visits. Yes. So we take it very serious.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Can you just stay here for just a second? I'm going to give you a token of appreciation.
Oh, sure.
U.S. Attorney Kenneth Parker, thank you very much for your insightful presentation. Thank you for your 22 years of service to this community and to seeking the truth and to your service above self. This group so appreciates your dedication to both the enforcement of laws and crime prevention. Clearly, Kenneth Parker's office is facing tragedy and rehabilitation with a service to our community. We too at Rotary think that we can improve our community by facing it with service above self. And as a token of our appreciation for your presentation here today, we'd like to present you with this Rotary Club of Cincinnati coin. And embossed on this coin was that 4-way test that you referred earlier today about the motto that we hold true to serve above self. And so with that, I'd like to give another big round of applause to Kenneth Parker for his presentation today.
So you gave me a coin that says, is it the truth on it, right? I don't have my glasses on, right? You know you're going to end up in an interrogation somewhere with this coin, right? I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to ask somebody to read the first line of that. But I guess great minds think alike, because I brought an office challenge coin for you all, because you rose to the challenge, especially with Camp Allen, and I thank you for that. So I want to present to Rotary, to you, President Steve King, to all the members here of Rotary, thank you, and you rose to the challenge on behalf of my office of Southern District of Ohio.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir. Wow, appreciate that very much. Well, what an extra special presentation it's been today having you here, Ken Parker. Just a few last announcements. We have 2 meetings today. Hands-on service is meeting in boardroom 4 on the mezzanine. The board of directors are meeting in the Julep Room on the 3rd floor. Tonight is the Blink Parade. There'll be some of us in lit-up hats and costumes. If you don't have your light-up hat and costume, that's okay. You can come and support the parade along 5th Street and cheer on the Rotary Club. We're going to have a few light-up surprises for anybody who's going to be watching. And next week is Dr. Randy Overbeck, award-winning educator and author and speaker. The title of his presentation is A Few Favorite Haunts. Until then, make it a great week. Meeting adjourned.